Hello everyone, and welcome to my first video on Season 7 of the Finals. So first of all, if you missed it, my last video on Season 6 was a long one. It was like a 50-minute long breakdown on our entire ranked journey for Season 6, which I wanted to do because I didn't stream or record any of the ranked stuff. Like, I did do some casual stuff here or there, but again, I didn't stream or record any of the ranked stuff because I need to get a new capture card, and I can't do 120 frames, unfortunately, when I'm streaming right now until I get a new cap card. Then I'll be able to do it. So yeah. And again, like, when I'm playing ranked, when I'm playing casual stuff, I can fuck around a little bit, use some different loadouts. I don't know, I don't really care as much, so it doesn't bother me as much. But when I'm playing ranked, I want to be at my best for myself and my teammates. So yeah, so like when I'm playing ranked as of right now, until I get the new cap card, I definitely want to have the frames. And so that just unfortunately means that all the ranked stuff isn't going to be streamed until I get the new cap card, which I'm hoping to do sometime in the summer, because it would be so nice to be able to stream and do videos on this game and other games I like to play again, and not have to feel like I'm being held back while doing it, because that's kind of how it feels right now. With the situation with having to use the old cap card. So gonna work on that. Hopefully gonna have that, make that happen in the summer. And then, yeah, I can, not just this game, but some other games as well, hopefully start like streaming and recording them again. And yeah, should be able to do some fun stuff, because I'll definitely do some of the ranked stuff for sure, because there was so much good stuff. Like, it would have been so awesome if that recap video was not just, me looking at charts and going through the story. Like, if I actually had the games and like the literal like could actually show you what happened along all the context that I gave and everything, then that would have been really cool. So yeah, anyways, had to explain all that, but point is, if you missed that video, go check it out. Even though it's a long one, it's like podcast format style, it's a little different. I went through like the whole journey, and I think it was pretty good. Like, I think it was a good story, so that's why I wanted to do it. And I definitely think it was worth talking about. So yeah, had a lot of fun going through it, and I think it made for a pretty good video, even though it was a bit different. Okay, but yeah, so now that all that's out of the way, I wanted to talk about Season 7, and here we actually are playing on the new map. The new map, I would say, is like the big thing this season. There's actually no new weapons this season, just new gadgets. No new specializations either. Just new gadgets and a bunch of patch notes, balance changes, and a new map. So like normally with the new season, I feel like the new weapons are like the main thing that gets talked about, but with this season, it's completely different with the fact that there aren't any new weapons. And yeah, I think this map, I think the new map is really like the big thing here. And so far, I don't really, it's hard to say. I have not played it enough. I need to play the map more. I think it looks really cool. Like, aesthetically, it might be my new favorite map in the game. It looks awesome. It's different than Horizon, but it definitely has like a similar vibe to Horizon, and I really like Horizon, not just aesthetically, but also the way it plays. I really enjoy that map. So having this map like have that similar aesthetic is really nice. And again, like, I have not played it enough. I need to play like some ranked matches. I've only played like a couple tourneys on it. Here I'm playing like quick cash on it. I need to get some more games in. But so far, so good. So far, so good. I don't know like where exactly it'll rank in the tier list. But after, let's say like after like 2 weeks, I kind of want to do, I did do a tier list for the maps on stream when we were counting down the ranked season. I want to redo that in a couple weeks once I know how I feel about this map, and post that for YouTube. I thought it'd be a fun video to do. So yeah, I wish I could give like the full opinion on the map right now, but definitely cannot. All I can say for now is that I think it looks solid, and I think it's better than it's at least better than like the maps that are the worst maps, in my opinion. It's at least better than those, so I can say that. But anyways, yeah, so that's the big thing with the season. The other super important additions outside of the new map are the gadget additions. So 2 of them are healing focused, and one of them is not, and the one that's not is for medium. I guess I'm going to talk about that one first, because it's the one that like stands out the most, because it's not the healing focused one. Medium got the breach drill, which is it looks like something out of like Rainbow Six Siege. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like a gadget that belongs in Siege, and not this game. Not that it can't belong in this game, but that's just immediately what it made me think of when I saw it revealed in the trailer and whatnot. And yeah, shoots like a breach charge like through a wall, and like opens up the wall, but it also flashbangs people on the other side. Seems really cool. I haven't used it at all yet, not gonna lie. So I have had it used against me a little bit, and my initial impressions on it just off of that are underwhelming. Especially while DMAT is as strong as it is, right? Like DMAT being as strong and as useful as it is, I think that the breach drill doesn't make a lot of sense. If DMAT does eventually get a nerf, which I think it should, then maybe this would have some more utility. But yeah, as of right now, little underwhelmed by the medium gadget. And in fact, I would say it's like by far the worst gadget of the 3 that got added. I don't know if it's like completely useless, but I definitely think it's the worst of the 3 so far. Maybe I just need more time with it. I don't know, but that's kind of how I feel. Okay, so going on to the other ones, I'm going to talk about the best one next. So, and some people have been saying this as like technically a new gun, but it's a gadget. This is different. You can't eliminate enemies with this. As far as I'm aware, I don't think you can. You can only heal, so it's different. But Light got a healer like pistol as a gadget. And this thing is nuts. This thing is absolutely nuts. It is crazy good. I will be shocked if this is not like the first thing to get nerfed in this update. I will be absolutely shocked. If you have not given this thing a shot, and you do play Light from time to time, give it a shot. Give it a shot, put it in the loadout, switch it out for anything, just whatever you want, I guess, and give it a shot, and you will realize very quickly that it is strong. Like, I think it is probably the strongest healing gadget in the game now. Although, I do think both of these new healing gadgets are better than the I should have said, like, healing in general, not just gadget, but better than the medium heal beam, which is a whole other discussion. We'll get to that. But yeah, this healer pistol for the Light is fantastic, really strong. In my opinion, definitely needs a nerf, and I'll be shocked if it's not the first thing to get nerfed in like one of the first patches. But use it while it's good, right? Use it while it's good. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot, because I think it's absolutely getting nerfed. Okay, so the last gadget is the, do I not have it on this game? I don't have it on this game. Damn it. It's, like the healing, what is the exact term for it? Like the healing emitter or something? Yeah, healing emitter, for the heavy. And basically what it is it's like a, you know, like the blueberries around the map, like those healing balls. It's kind of like a healing ball like that, but bigger, and a little bit easier to spot, right? Because it's a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to spot, a little bit easier to shoot, but a little bit different because it's not like the blueberries around the map where you take them and you like smash them and then it gives you the healing thing, right? Like the healing ball actually like stays in a location and sets up, and you can pick it up and you can move it and all that. You don't smash it or anything. It sets up and then it like heals people around it. I think this thing is fine. I think it's fine. I don't think it's overpowered. I don't think it's weak. Again, I do think the healing pistol for Light is overpowered. I do think the breach drill for medium is maybe a little weak. The emitter, I think they nailed it. Like, I honestly think this thing is perfectly balanced. There's a lot of ways to counter it. You can throw it. You can literally pick it up and throw it. So if you push a team and you have an opportunity, and you see that they have the emitter set up, you can just pick it up and toss it to the side, toss it wherever, and then now they don't have healing. So you can literally pick it up and throw it. You can shoot it. It's not that hard to shoot. You can glitch it. It's very, very easy to counter. So very easy to counter, very fair, in my opinion. And the healing that it offers is pretty slow, but pretty consistent. Pretty slow, but pretty consistent. Not nearly as crazy like burst healing like the Light healing pistol is. Like, I'm telling you, the Light healing pistol, there are times where you get an enemy weak, you go to chase that kill, and you hear that there's a Light, and then they could be getting healed. And you might think like, okay, yeah, they'll get healed a little bit, but it's not going to be that bad. And then you go chase them, and then they're like full health, like instantly. Like the Light healing pistol is crazy like that. The healing emitter for the heavy is not like that. Again, it's a lot more like slow sustained heal. And again, I actually quite like this addition. I was a little worried about it at first, but I quite like it. Again, I like that there's multiple ways to counter it. And I like that it's solid, but not too crazy. Yeah, I think it's a solid gadget. I don't even know if I'll run it. honestly, or at least like primarily. I think that there are definitely situations and definitely loadouts that you could run it with heavy. Like for example, I do think that like running it with Lewis and M60 and then like Barricade and going like with a Season 2 comp for heavy, but adding in the heal ball with that. I think that that's a really nice combo. And I tried that a little bit after this, and I had a lot of fun with it. I'm definitely going to do it some more, try to get another gameplay with that. So I think there's some potential there, but I don't think it's like the light pistol where it's so strong that it's like, oh, you have to run this if you're running heavy. I absolutely do not think it is like that. And again, I think it's very loadout dependent. Like when I was running the SA, because I think the RPG is probably the thing that I would swap for the healing emitter right now. When I was running the SA, I really liked still having the RPG. But when I switched and I was using the Lewis, and I imagine the same would probably apply when I used the M60, and I had the barricades and everything, I actually liked having the healing ball a lot more than having the RPG, because it's a different playstyle. It's a different playstyle. And if you can play that range and you can set up on a point, and you can set up on a barricade, put the healing ball behind the barricade, and just keep poking out, keep doing shots, or keep putting shots down range, but still like having that healing ball behind you and being able to back down whenever you need to, like that's a really annoying playstyle. That seems like really hard to deal with. So definitely potential, but again, loadout dependent. If I was using a shotgun, I probably wouldn't like it as much. Trying to use an LMG for range, I think it could be pretty solid. So yeah, there's my thoughts on the gadgets overall, and yeah, so just completely covering the whole range, right? Like just completely covering the whole range. Like they had there's a weak gadget in there, there's one that's super strong, and then there's one that's just like solid. So shout out to Embark, I guess, for nailing the entire spectrum there as far as the new gadgets are concerned. So I'm not going to talk too much about like the sponsor stuff in the battle pass, other than I think it's cool. I think that this battle pass is really good, and there's a lot of discussion over the premium thing. I'm not really going to get into that in this one. All I'm going to say is that I like the items. Like I think that the aesthetic and the items in the battle pass are like really cool, and a lot of them look like they could be, shop bundle items, but instead they're just in the battle pass, which is really nice. So that's all I'm going to get into with that. I don't want to talk about the ultimate thing, because again, maybe I'll do another video on it, maybe I won't, but I know that that's something that's been discussed a lot. And again, like personally, I just don't really care to talk about it in this one. So maybe in another video, another day, we'll see. Same thing goes for the battle passes, the legacy battle passes that they added. I actually think that's cool. I think that goes with any game that I've played that has like the legacy battle passes. Like I used to play a lot of Gwent. You could do that in Gwent. You could get the old battle passes at any point in time. They don't even support that game anymore, and you can still do it. By the way, you can actually still get those old ones and level them up, I believe, if you still play Gwent now, even though the dev support has ended. I believe that's the case. My bad if that's wrong. Halo Infinite, we've had a lot of discussion about that game in our community, but that game, that was always a positive of it, in my opinion, that you could go back to those old battle passes whenever. I always thought that was nice. That never bothered me. So yeah, when it comes to that stuff, I did want to touch on that a little bit. I do like that you can have those old battle passes. That does not bother me. I guess I kind of understand why it bothers some people with the exclusivity and whatnot, but I don't know. I always thought the exclusivity was kind of lame, to be honest. Like in my opinion, I always thought it was kind of lame. So yeah, I get why some people feel the way that they do about that, but personally, I do not feel that way. I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather have as much content as possible, available for players, even if they missed seasons, right? Because that's one of the things that holds people back with games like this, is when they miss seasons. It's like, oh, I missed out on all this shit, and there's so much that I cannot have now. With these legacy battle passes and stuff like that, it's like, well, that's not the case, right? Like, no, you actually can, still pick up some of this stuff if there's things that you really like the look of. You can still pick that stuff up and still participate and not feel left out. So again, I get why people feel the way that they do about that stuff. I just don't. Okay, moving on. They added practice range challenges. It's basically a big mini game addition for the practice range to make the practice range a little more legit and a little more useful. Really cool. I don't know how much I'm going to use it, but maybe I might use it, because I remember I was big into Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, And then also in COD World War II, I know it's the same developers. I think both of those games had a really nice firing range that you could use for in-between rounds. And I used the firing range in both of those CODs a lot. And again, I think they weren't like the new CODs, like super basic, boring firing range where they do like the least effort thing possible, right? They actually like really put some effort into those, and I thought those were really nice. I like those a lot. And this practice range challenge thing kind of reminds me of that. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool addition. I don't know how much I'm going to use it, but I like it. Okay, moving on. This is going to be a long video. As always, the first season video tends to be like this. Going to need 2 gameplays. So getting on to the balance changes. Okay, so I'm going to look at the things that are important here. So they made some changes to the carryables around the arena. The gas canister, they made it easier to activate, which I think is kind of nice because I always thought that was kind of like, I don't know, it wasn't something that was at the top of my priority list, but I did always think that was something that was kind of annoying about the gas barrels, so I think that's kind of a nice change. And in general, there's been kind of an effort of making these things easier to activate for these carryables. The glitch barrel, they decreased the health of the glitch barrel. They decreased the health of the goo barrel. They decreased the strength of the goo barrel as well, by the way. The actual like goo itself, health got lowered by quite a bit. They decreased the health of the healing barrels by quite a bit. Made them easier to activate. The powder canister, which I believe is like the smoke one, they made that easier too. So just like in general, like basically damn near all of the carryables outside of like the red barrels and the orange barrels, I think, made those easier to shoot and damage to activate. Again, like I think that's a nice change across the board. This is an interesting change for controller players such as myself. Added aim assist support to deployable gadgets, such as turrets, APS, explosive mines, meaning these objects should be much less frustrating to aim at for controller users. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of torn on as a controller user myself, I'm actually kind of torn on this one. So hear me out. As a controller user, and I'd like to think a pretty solid one, don't get me wrong, it can be kind of annoying, especially with like glitch traps and stuff like that, well-placed ones, like how annoying these gadgets are to shoot on a controller. Personally, I don't think turrets or APS were really that difficult, but mines could be pretty frustrating to shoot on controller for sure. That being said, I have to see how strong the aim assist is on these. I need to hopefully get into a lobby with some people running like turrets and APS and mines and stuff like that and mess around with this a little bit, because I am a little worried because I can't imagine a thing developing where like if the aim assist is like super strong on these turrets and on these APS and mines and stuff like that, you could get into some situations where you're shooting somebody and they're strafing with like the turret or the APS behind them in the background, and you're getting like the double aim assist, and it's making aiming at what you want to aim at impossible, right? Like this was not a problem. This was not an issue previously. Now this could be an issue, right? I'm not going to say it is. I need to mess around with it more. I need to get into some combat with people that are using this. I feel like I haven't had any engagements with people that are using this. So I can't really speak on it yet, but I could see that being an issue. And it could actually be a bad thing. So I'm definitely going to experiment with that and figure that out, because again, I think it's a well-intentioned change that could have some negative aspects that they maybe didn't think of fully or intend. So I'll have to get back to everybody on that. They decreased the cooldown on the anti-gravity cube by a ton, by 7 seconds. Will that mean that people use the cube more? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. I don't know if that actually is going to lead to a big increase in the use rate of the cube. It's possible, but I'm not convinced. So we'll have to see how that ends up being. I do think it would be cool, though, if that was the case. Yeah, I think that would be neat. Okay, so continuing on here. All right, so what next? Okay, so the APS turret decreased the health consumed per projectile to 20%, meaning a full health APS can now block 5 projectiles instead of 4. Nice, nice. It's a nice buff to the APS because the APS is actually a pretty useful gadget that gets like forgotten about, right? Like the APS is pretty good, but people don't really use it that often. So having that slight buff and having that slight increase in usability to the APS, I mean, that's quite nice. Is it going to get used a lot, though? Like, is it going to increase its use rate a lot? I don't know. I'm not sure on that because again, I think one of the big aspects of the APS being used less is like frag grenades going out of the meta quite a bit. You know, I think that's one of the biggest aspects there of APS not being used, right? Because APS is weird, right? APS's use rate is like entirely meta dependent, right? Because if the meta is not revolving around a lot of like throwable gadgets, then why would you use APS, right? So it's like it's kind of a weird thing to balance. It's kind of a weird thing to balance because it's entirely dependent on everything else and on what people are using. So it's a weird one. But we'll see if that actually, we'll see if that actually affects it. Flashbang, increased view angle fall off, reducing effects when looking away. Let's go. So it seems like the flashbang, like the way that it works like this in a lot of games, but I always think of CS. But yeah, making it work more like how it does in CS, where you can like look away and actually reduce the effects. That's awesome. That's great. Actually, been wanting that for a while. Very, very happy to see that. And I think that's awesome. Goo Grenade decreased the size of the goo wall from 2x6 to 2x5, and also decreased goo blob health from 300 to 240. That is fantastic, and a dev note on this one: for a while now, goo grenades have been creeping up in usage in majority of modes and skill tiers, with usage now on par with other gadgets and disproportionately higher than some. This higher rate of goo spam has also been frustrating for a lot of players due to how easy it can sometimes make cash out steals. In the attack-defend dynamics of cash out and quick cash modes, it's important to us that defenders can slow the progress of attacking teams. So we don't want to reduce the power of goo too much, but we believe these changes will tone down its power slightly, allowing well-prepared players to better counter goo. Fantastic, right? Like, fantastic dev note. I completely agree with what they said. That is what I have noticed as well. So yeah, I'm completely on board with that, completely agree. And the goo nerf was one of the biggest things, honestly, on my wish list for this season. So I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy to see this. And so far in the season, I do feel like it's been a lot better. I do feel like the goo has been a lot better and has been less frustrating. So that's really nice to see. Gravity Vortex decreased cooldown from 24 seconds to 20 seconds. I don't know about that one. I'm not going to lie. I already thought the cooldown on the Grav Vortex was pretty short. Don't get me wrong, it's not used that much, but I don't think it's for a lack of power. Like, I actually do think it's pretty good. It's just that, DMAT is also really good, and C4 is also really good. So, like, you often have HML comps with the heavy and the medium with both really strong stall. So the light, you wouldn't really need to run stall. You know what I mean? I think that's entirely why the Gravity Vortex wasn't used very often. It's often used as a stall mechanic, and your other two teammates have really strong stall mechanics already. So it's like, do you really need another one, right? I think that's why Gravity Vortex wasn't used very often. So the decreased cooldown, I don't really know if that was necessary, because again, the times that I have used it, I already think the cooldown is actually like surprisingly fast on it. So I don't think that was necessary at all. We'll see how that ends up affecting things. Okay, so they made some changes to ranked. But they're weird ones. Decrease the size of various spawn negation zones, making slightly more respawn locations eligible for use when respawning players. I have not played enough. I think that spawn changes sound good. I'll have to play some more and see how they actually affect things. Increased the reconnect window for disconnected players who are in parties of 3. From 210 seconds to match end. This means players have until the end of a match to reconnect without taking a matchmaking sanction or a ranked score penalty if their party matches the team size. Dev note: the current 210-second reconnect window exists to reduce how often players have a bad experience due to a random teammate disconnecting. In the case where the teammate isn't a random player but an invited party member, and your party makes up the whole team, it makes less sense to have such a restrictive window to prevent griefing. We hope this change makes the reconnect window a little more forgiving for parties. Yeah. 100%. I think that makes sense. 100%. Updated the ranked score penalty system. The player who first abandons a match will take a fixed ranked score penalty. Any players who subsequently leave will not receive a ranked score penalty. Only a ranked score update based on their final match placement. Dev note: the goal of this change is to try and reduce some of the negative impact of teammates disconnecting and not returning. So as somebody, and my friend Yertle can attest to this, as somebody that duo queued and would also solo queue a lot in the past, but recently this season duo queued a lot, having a major punishment from your teammate disconnecting can be extremely frustrating. like extremely frustrating. And not having more forgiveness when this happens was just like bullshit, frankly, just like absolute bullshit. I do understand that there's maybe some instances where it can maybe be abused a little bit, and that's frustrating, but like, I don't know. In my experience, it just felt like we were playing the game and never quitting, never giving up, never throwing, and just getting punished ourselves when our teammates would, and that really fucking sucked. And I feel like every serious ranked game has like some form of forgiveness if your teammate does this shit. And I know a lot of people like to complain is like, oh, just find a 3-stack. And it's like, yeah, well, I think we have enough players now to 3-stack pretty consistently, but like that's not always the case. And like also sometimes you're not playing as seriously. Sometimes you're not full on Ruby ranked grind. Like sometimes you just want to play ranked. Sometimes you just want to hop on, play some solo queue, play some duo queue. You know, you just want that ranked experience. Like sometimes you just want to play ranked. You shouldn't always have to play in a 3-stack. So yeah, I don't agree with that line of thought at all. And I am happy to see some form of forgiveness here. I think that it's really nice. So I like seeing that. Introduced ranked score penalty reduction system. Any ranked score reductions applied for a player getting eliminated from a tournament will be reduced by 30% if their team had a player abandon the match. This rule is not applied if the missing player was in your party to avoid exploits. There you go. So that should hopefully avoid the potential, like, you know, abuse angle, right, of this, where players could abuse it and exploit it and take advantage of that. That should hopefully take care of that. So dev note on that one, this is another change aimed at reducing the negative consequences of teammates disconnecting in ranked matches. To avoid exploits and loss evasion, the rule only applies to players who are match-made together, not players in a party, in parties where a party member abandons their game. Again, somebody that duo queued and used to solo queue often, nice to see. Nice to see. Very, very nice to see that. I wish it would have happened before, because I don't think we'll duo or solo queue as much now compared to how much we used to. Again, like, we met a lot of players in the previous season, and I think we should have a 3-stack more consistently. But I'm still happy that it happened, right? I'm still happy that it happened finally, because it is definitely good for the game. All right, World Tour cash out changes. Decrease the size of various... Okay, so like same thing. Same spawn changes. Increase the reconnect window. Yep, same thing for the party. So same stuff. And then this is the big one. Increase the size of the World Tour map pool to include all maps for the whole season, rather than our previously weekly rotations. Dev note, over time we've come to believe that limiting the size of the World Tour map pool and rotating it weekly isn't giving World Tour players the best possible experience or variety. So we've decided to enable the whole map pool at all times, just like in ranked tournaments. That is a fantastic change. I love that, honestly. I've been hoping for that for a while. Don't get me wrong, I get what they were trying to do. I get what they were trying to do with the limited map pool and the different tour stops and to do something fun with it. Like, I get it, but I think having the map pool open and having those other, like, weird gameplay modifiers, like when the emotes give you more money when you plug in the cash, you know what I mean? Like the weird fun shit like that. Just focus on that. Focus on that for World Tour. Focus more on that and focus less on, you know, messing with the map pool. That's what they did, and I'm very happy to see that. So yeah, I actually like that a lot, and I think that playing World Tour and grinding World Tour will feel a lot better because of that. Terminal attack, I don't give a fuck. Sorry, they did the same disconnect in a party thing for terminal attack. That's what they did for terminal attack. My bad. They buffed the quick play progression points. Let's go. Like across the board, they increased the quick play progression points. Oh my god, thank you. Don't get me wrong, this should have happened in the middle of last season. This should have happened a lot sooner, for sure. I don't know why this didn't happen in the middle of last season. I think it should have been like very obvious very quickly that it needed a buff. But hey, that's fine. At least it finally happened. I'm very, very happy that it happened, because the amount of grind that was required last season was like absolutely obnoxious, man. It was absolutely obnoxious. And so far, my quick play grinding, the progression, it feels a lot better, and I'm very happy to say that and to see that. VRs. Decrease the VR cost of all items released during seasons 1 through 6 to 500. Hell yeah, because that's a major barrier to entry with this game for new players. I've thought about that. I've seen people on Reddit bring it up, and I agree. It's a major barrier to entry, and I love to see that they adjusted that for new players. That's awesome. Set the VR cost of items released in Season 7 to 2,200. Whatever. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I love to see that, and I love that, because if you're trying to get new people into this game, it's a major barrier to entry, and it just takes so long to unlock things, and I love to see that they've thought of that and that they're making changes to that, because I still want new players to come to this game, because this game is great. Okay. Increase the number of win points earned for losing in the first round of World Tour matches from 0 to 2. Hey, there we go. That's nice. That's nice. That should reduce the amount of time it takes to, you know, get Emerald and make that World Tour progression by quite a bit. And that's good. Again, I don't think World Tour should have ever had a 0 for playing a match, even if you get first rounded. I know people probably say shit with like participation, fucking, you know, Emerald and whatever. But I don't know, man. Like, you don't, you play a ranked tournament, you get like negative points for finishing in the first round. Like, it feels really bad having like nothing. It feels really bad having nothing, because at the end of the day, this isn't ranked, right? It's not ranked. You don't want to take win points away in World Tour, because it's not about that, right? It's progression. And if you're playing, even if you get first rounded, if you're playing around, you should be progressing. It's like that. Emerald is different. It should not be looked at the same way as like the Ruby rewards and ranked rewards and shit like that. It's different. Get over it. Okay, so specializations. So decreased goo blob health for the goo gun. So yeah, goo just getting nerfed across the board. Finally getting over to weapon changes. General, rebalance the environmental damage values across multiple weapons to make them slightly more consistent when damaging and destroying crops. Okay, 93R, increased magazine size from 21 to 24. Very slight buff, but I did get to use it a little bit last night, and I enjoyed it. I thought that the buff was nice. It's not a lot, but it's nice, so that's good. This is the big one, or there's two big ones. Cerberus, decreased damage per pellet from 10 to 9, reducing a full shot's damage from 110 to 99. Dev note, we received a lot of negative feedback around the Cerberus more recently and its potential for very high burst damage at close range. We really want medium to have solid close range weapon options, but our data backs up the over effectiveness of the Cerb at close range. So this nudge to its damage will hopefully bring it more in line with other medium weapons usage and effectiveness. Hell yes, we got another Cerb nerf. Let's go. The game feels so much better. Like, this particular change is the biggest change of the patch notes. I swear the game feels so much better, mostly because of this change. And we're starting to see the model come back a little bit, but the model doesn't really feel overpowered. Like, the model feels pretty well balanced to me now. I feel like it's in a pretty good spot. And now that the Cerb got nerfed, you're starting to see the model more. And I think the model has a higher skill gap than the Cerb, so I totally welcome seeing more model and less Cerb. So I'm very happy to see that. The KS-23 got a really nice buff to its environmental damage. I need to mess around with that. I think that might be pretty fun. So that's something interesting. The LH1 got an increase of its damage from 40 to 42. I gotta say, the LH1 absolutely fucking sucked last season. It was horrible. I hated it. Like, they absolutely killed it. Which I understand why, because the LH1 the season previous was horrible in the opposite way. Like, it was way too strong, way too prevalent. The game was the LH1 damn near. Like, it was insane. So I get why they did it, but now they're trying to rebuff it and try to get it into a fair, healthy spot. And I do think it feels better from what I've used so far. Does it need another buff? I don't know. I need to use it a little bit more. But I do think it feels a lot better and a lot more usable. And I'm liking it a lot more than I did previously. And I even think that on certain maps, some lights might actually prefer the LH again. Again, on certain maps. Minigun, increased environmental damage from 25 to 30. So made the minigun environmental damage a bit better. Generally, I'm not really a fan of buffing the minigun, but if you were going to buff the minigun in some way, I kind of think that's the right way to do it. Big nerf to the sludge damage. Decrease the damage of primary sludge attacks from 115 to 100. Decrease the damage of secondary sludge attacks from 200 to 150. So basically what this means is that the sludge, this is like a major nerf in particular to sledge against heavies. It's still pretty strong, I think, or it still can be pretty strong against lights and mediums, depending on your kit, depending on how well you play with it. I think it can still be pretty strong. But particularly in a heavy v heavy fight, I think that the sledge is a lot less strong here. And don't get me wrong, like, it's a big nerf in general, but like specifically in the heavy to heavy fight, it's a big nerf. And I think it's nice. This combined with the Cerb change, very nice in my opinion. Very nice, very welcome. And I think that seeing less sledge and less Cerb, although in my experience, it's not that you don't see no sledge or no Cerb. I still do see some people trying to make it work. but just seeing less of it is very nice, very refreshing, and makes me very happy. So, don't get me wrong, I was hoping for a little bit more in the weapon department. I was hoping for some buffs, some slight buffs to some guns that have kind of been forgotten about, in my opinion. So like the Lewis gun, I was hoping for like a slight Lewis buff, a slight FCAR buff, a slight AK buff. Like there was a few weapons that I really wanted to see some slight. I think the heavy class probably could have used a lot of slight buffs around the board too for a lot of weapons. Light, I don't know. I honestly think light's in a pretty good spot. LH was probably the big one. But yeah, there's a few things. I would have loved to have seen some slight buffs. So I would have loved to have seen a little bit more here for the weapon changes. But for the most part, overall, I think these are pretty good. And I think that they hit the big points that I wanted them to hit. So that's nice. The only one that they really missed on, in my opinion, was no DMAT nerf. No DMAT nerf. And then the rest of the changes, by the way, like audio changes and bug fixes and stuff like that, I usually don't go with those in the patch notes. So that's going to do it for me as far as the patch notes go. Aside from the fact that there's a note at the end, a dev note at the end that basically says they're trying to like step it up with the major tournament coming and esports like becoming more important for the game with that coming, that they're trying to like step up the anti-cheat and step up that. So that's good. That's good. I hope that that's actually true. I hope that they follow through on that, and I hope that whatever they're working on in regards to anti-cheat, I hope that it is good. And that it is functional, because that is one like big problem with the game for me still, is that the cheater problem is not, it's not horrible. It's not as bad as like, for example, like COD. Like I know COD's cheater problem in ranked has been like really bad this year. So it's not as bad as like that, but it's pretty bad, and it could definitely get better. So I hope that they're actually, you know, follow up on what they're saying there. But yeah, so now that we're at the end here, I want to wrap this up because this is a long one. The other video was a long one too, so it's two absolutely fucking just super long like podcast style videos to open up the season. But there was obviously a lot to talk about, right? There was a lot to recap with the end of last season. I wanted to give that full story, the best, you know, I wanted to portray and show that story for people that like didn't get to experience it with us the best that I could with that other video, and I tried my best at that. So hopefully I did a pretty decent job, because again, like I thought it was a pretty good story, and it was important to us, right? Like if other people watched it, listened to it, that's cool, but at the end of the day, it wasn't really about that. It was for us. Like it was important to us, and it was nice to make that. And again, like if anybody else gets anything out of it, awesome. But then this one, yeah, I wanted to go through all the patch notes, wanted to go through all that stuff and general thoughts and everything, and there was a lot to cover. So now that we're at the end of it, I'll talk more in another video, but just real quickly for the end of this one, overall thoughts on Season 7 are pretty good. Pretty good. Like, I think we're in a really good spot. Again, I need more time on it, but the new map seems really cool, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The gadgets are all over the place. But some of the like quality of life changes are really good, and again, like really liked the goo nerf, and those weapon like the sledge and the serb nerf. I feel like the game feels a lot better. So those changes were really good. And even though there was a few things, like again, like for me, the big thing was the DMAT nerf. I really wanted to see a DMAT nerf. I really wanted to see some slight buffs for some old favorite guns that I think could use them. So even though those things didn't happen, and even though those things were missing, I still think they did a pretty damn good job, and I still think this is going to be a good season, and I'm feeling optimistic and excited for it. Okay, yeah, so that about sums it up. We'll do more videos for sure, and we'll catch up more. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think about Season 7 in the comments, how your experience with it is with it so far, and how you're enjoying it and whatnot. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Later. Yeah. See, there we go. That was a solid model tourney.